Today I'm going to talk to you guys about Schindler's List and why black and white is used, because it's obviously a main part of the film. Firstly, when you think of World War II, you think of black and white photography, and you're really detached from the scene, and you don't really think of them as associated with you. When we think of action and violence now, it's like films, it's moving, it's computer games, things like that. So putting them both together, you get this Schindler's List. The idea of relating back to World War II, our perception now of violence. So basically, it brings us close to the Holocaust, and that's the main point. So basically, what Spielberg does here is he takes our experiences and he makes them, he helps us associate aspects of the film to what we have experienced in our lives. So basically it's all about what we think. 2 points, brings us close to the Holocaust, and it's all about what we've experienced. So firstly, how do these two images make you feel?
Unhappy?
Yeah, they do, because funerals, and this one's a thundercloud, it's pretty hard to see, but we associate them with like really negative feelings, and you don't feel happy at a funeral or when it's grey outside. So black is a gloomy colour, and you can see that here by looking at Schindler's List, this screenshot, and it shows them all walking out of their homes, out to uncertain doom, and the black really shows how negative everything is. Looking at another shot with like a whole lot of people, it's a bit harder to see them, but basically they're all having their arms up and they're about to be shot, and it's a whole lot of confusion because when things are dark, it's a whole lot harder to see them, and so we don't really know what's happening. It's the whole idea, like, relating back to our lives, it's when you walk around your house and it's dark and you bump into things. It's like that idea of confusion. So another aspect of black is when you are suspicious of them, because relating that to perhaps the news, you see suicide bombers, they're wearing big black jerseys and you don't really know what they're hiding. They're suspicious because they're really they're wearing clothing that obscures them, and relating that back to the film, you're seeing Schindler, he's covering his face with his hand, he's got like a black face, and it's like really, he's hiding something. We don't really feel that we can trust him because he's not being open with us in his body language. So basically, black is pretty negative. It represents gloom, confusion and suspicion, and it's not a very positive thing. Now looking at white. In our experiences, we have places like hospitals, we have chemists, we have dentists, and they all have, white, open, easy to see, everything's there, you know what to expect, and you have this idea here in the film of safety associating us with that image. When Schindler and Stern are making this list of all the people they want to save by putting them in the factory, so we really get the sense of, white faces equals safety, lit up, we can see everything, we know what to expect, so we know the Jews are going to be saved, which is a really positive thing. And then the thing about light is that it's the most pure form of energy in our world, so the fact that we associate light with purity gets across the whole innocence picture. Babies, they're pure, they're unmarked, they haven't done anything wrong, and we associate that with the film by looking at an image like that. He hasn't done anything to deserve what he is going through, having to hide out from being killed, and we get this really innocence, he's done nothing wrong, and his face is lit up, he's honest, pure emotion. And so this image here, what does that make you want to do?
Catch the baby?
That's a really instinctive, like a mothering instinct, because we naturally feel disposed to protecting younger people. So by looking at this child and this child, we can relate the need to protect children to the film, where this girl is shown in red and she's sticking out. She's vulnerable compared to everybody else who's in black and white, and we really feel this need to protect her because she's so vulnerable. And so this is like a really positive feeling. It's the need to protect. It's a mothering instinct. It's normally associated with a woman, but obviously here in this film it's shown with Schindler being the male protector, like God, I guess. So looking at this, we see that white is a really positive thing, represents safety, innocence, and the need to protect, mothering, or fathering, I guess. And now looking at what we've agreed, a white being positive, black being negative, and so now we're going to look at what black and white mean when they're put together. Basically, it's showing character development between, this is all about light. So in this image here, we see both of the men, their faces are in black, and they're both hiding something. They're both pretty negative characters. We don't really feel secure with them. And then at the end of the film, he's really positive. He's lit up. You can see everything, and he's so he's like, you know, man on man to Stern here, because he's like, you know, they're both men. They're not looking at each other in like a calculating sort of how can I get the better of him sort of way. So we're using one lighting, like one solid lighting for each of them. It's creating one strong solid emotion. Now, looking at that, we can see an even bigger difference between Schindler and Schindler, between the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie. So, the beginning of the movie, face in shadow, eyes in shadow especially, you know, eyes are the window to the soul, and if we can't see them, it's the whole, you know, we don't really know their motivations, and so we feel we can't trust them. The end, he's not hiding anything, he's completely open, and we trust him because he's in full light. It's the whole white is safety thing. So, character development, beginning of the film, dark, end of the film, light, negative, positive. And now looking at this, by taking away all of the colours, we're taking away all the conflicting emotions we get from colour, because through colour we have, for example, yellow, we have joy, cowardice and illness. You know, we get all of those different emotions by different shades of the colour. Then you add texture, then you add shapes, then you add people, and there's so much going on. We just don't have one strong solid emotion. So by removing all of that conflict, we actually give ourselves the ability to use our imagination. So we take away all of the outside opinions about what colour means, and you know, we can put our own perception to that. So for example, the candles at the beginning of the film, they're immediately shown in colour, but then once the colour is taken away, we can each perceive it slightly differently. Like, I might see it differently to Kat, and because we each have different experiences with the candles. So basically it involves us by making us use our imagination. So which image here has the highest impact on you?
Black and white one.
Yep, it does, because by taking away all of that colour, you've got two separate colours on each end of the spectrum, and by putting them together, that's the highest contrast that you can get. It's because all colours are derived from black and white. Any colour has black as its darkest shade and white as its lightest shade, so that's pretty much the highest contrast that you can get. And in Schindler's List, that's shown by using these really high contrasts for things like action, abuse scenes, shooting scenes, like really high action. And it makes us like way more impacted by the scenes because of this use of colour. So basically it makes us active viewers. It gets us to relate to the characters, it heightens the action by using black and white, and it also makes us use our imagination, so we derive from our own personal experiences. So basically, by making us relate to our own personal experiences, what Spielberg is doing is he's, you know, getting us to like interact with the film pretty much. I'm going through everything. I've given you a sheet with this on, so you can go back through and look at all the points that I've made. But starting off, it's really about the event. Black and white brings us close to the event because we think about black and white as a, you know, World War II thing. Putting it in motion makes us associate that with an extension of our classroom space, basically, because we're moving, we see films all the time. It's all about what we think, so relating back to our personal experiences. Black being a negative, white being positive, putting them both together really engages the audience, makes us think, makes us like relate to the film and realize how good and bad, you know, they're not necessarily you know, two separate things, they're interchangeable, and it's all about us, to make us relate to it. So going back to the end, we're going to answer that question. Black and white is used to make us interact with the film on a more personal level and get us to relate to the characters and the events. The end.